Yukon stretches across Canada's far northwest, where long highways cut through wide valleys and mountain ranges rise beyond the tree line. In Whitehorse, the territory's capital, riverfront paths follow the Yukon River as floatplanes land and take off in steady rhythm. Farther south, the road to Carcross passes quiet forests before opening onto the bright waters of Emerald Lake. And to the north, a single highway continues toward tundra landscapes that feel increasingly remote with every kilometer. This place is defined by space. Distances are long, communities are small, and much of the territory remains shaped by wilderness. Tourism here revolves around that scale. Visitors come for open roads, historic towns linked to the Klondike gold rush, and protected areas such as Kluane National Park and Tombstone Territorial Park, where mountain scenery dominates the horizon. What matters here is contrast. Whitehorse offers access, services, and a starting point. Dawson City preserves the atmosphere of a gold rush town, where wooden facades and boardwalks recall a different era. Along the Dempster Highway, paved roads gradually give way to gravel as the landscape shifts toward the Arctic. Each location reveals a different layer of Yukon's appeal. The pattern becomes clear when looking at how these places connect. Together, they outline a travel experience built around distance, history, and terrain. Now, these places can be explored more closely, one by one. Whitehorse serves as the capital of Yukon and functions as the territory's main transportation and service hub. Located along the banks of the Yukon River, the city developed as a strategic point between the coast and the interior. Today, it remains the primary gateway for travelers arriving by air or by road, connecting remote communities with the rest of northern Canada. The city's layout reflects both practicality and proximity to nature. Residential neighborhoods sit close to forested hills, while downtown streets concentrate government buildings, local businesses, and cultural institutions. Trails extend outward in nearly every direction, and the Yukon River continues to define the rhythm of daily life. Even within city limits, the surrounding landscape never feels far away. Whitehorse also plays a central role in understanding how movement shaped the region. During the Klondike Gold Rush, it became a key transfer point for goods and passengers traveling deeper into the territory. Riverboats once carried supplies along the Yukon River, linking settlements that had no road access. That legacy remains visible at the SS Klondike National Historic Site, where a restored sternwheeler stands on the riverbank as a reminder of the transportation networks that helped build the North. Leaving Whitehorse, the landscape begins to open up. Forested hills stretch farther into the distance, the road narrows, and lakes appear with little warning between mountain ridges. The sense of scale becomes more pronounced, and the transition from small capital city to expansive northern terrain happens quickly. Emerald Lake stands out for its striking color, created by fine mineral sediments suspended in the water. On clear days, the surface reflects layers of green and blue that shift with the angle of light. Pullouts along the South Klondike Highway offer broad views of the shoreline, making it one of the most photographed stops in southern Yukon. The lake's appearance changes with the seasons, from deep summer tones to partially frozen textures in early autumn. A short drive away, Carcross introduces a different character. Once an important stop along transportation routes linking the coast to the interior, The community today blends tourism with local heritage. Historic wooden buildings line parts of the town, and nearby Carcross Desert, often described as one of the smallest deserts in the world, adds an unexpected geographic contrast. The area also reflects a strong indigenous presence, particularly through cultural centers and art that connect visitors to the traditions of the region's First Nations. However, Yukon's most famous story was written farther north. Dawson City emerged at the height of the Klondike gold rush, when news of gold discoveries along nearby creeks triggered a surge of prospectors into the region. What had been a remote settlement transformed rapidly into a crowded boomtown. Tents gave way to wooden buildings, river traffic intensified, and Dawson briefly became one of the largest communities in Western Canada. The search for gold reshaped the economy, redirected transportation routes, and defined Yukon's global image for generations. Long before gold seekers arrived, Indigenous peoples had lived across this territory for thousands of years. Communities such as the Klondike Inn developed deep knowledge of seasonal movements, fishing grounds, and trade networks along the Yukon River. Their connection to the land extended beyond resource use to language, culture, and governance systems rooted in place. The gold rush disrupted these patterns, bringing profound change. Yet Indigenous presence and leadership continue to shape Dawson City and the broader region today. Beyond Dawson City, the pavement begins to narrow, and the sense of remoteness grows stronger. Roads that once connected mining settlements gradually lead into a much larger northern landscape. One route in particular continues this journey farther than most: the Dempster Highway. The Dempster Highway begins just outside Dawson City and extends north across Yukon into the Northwest Territories. Stretching for more than 700 kilometers, it eventually reaches the Arctic community of Inuvik. Unlike most northern roads, it was engineered to remain open throughout the year, built on thick gravel embankments designed to protect the underlying permafrost. Along the way, the highway crosses mountain ranges, wide river valleys, and tundra landscapes where services become increasingly sparse. For many travelers, the road itself becomes the destination, offering one of the few opportunities to drive deep into Canada's Arctic regions. Not far from the start of the highway lies Tombstone Territorial Park. The park is known for its sharply rising black peaks, shaped by ancient geological forces and often compared to alpine landscapes found much farther south. Hiking routes and viewpoints reveal wide tundra valleys, winding rivers, and distant mountain ridges that seem to extend endlessly toward the Arctic. Wildlife sightings are common in the area, and the dramatic skyline of jagged summits has made Tombstone one of Yukon's most recognizable northern landscapes. Farther southwest, a very different environment defines Kluane National Park. Located near the Alaska border, the park protects vast mountain ranges, enormous ice fields, and some of the highest peaks in Canada. Large portions of the park remain dominated by glaciers, forming one of the world's largest non-polar ice fields. The surrounding valleys support diverse wildlife, including grizzly bears, Dall sheep, and moose. For travelers, Kluane represents another side of Yukon's geography, where towering mountains and massive ice formations shape the scale of the land. Another element draws many visitors to Yukon during the colder months: the Northern Lights. With long, dark winter nights and relatively low levels of light pollution, The territory offers favorable conditions for observing aurora borealis. Clear skies often reveal shifting bands of green, sometimes mixed with purple or red tones, moving slowly across the northern horizon. In many winters, auroras appear frequently enough that travelers staying several nights have a strong chance of seeing them. Several areas in Yukon have become well known for aurora viewing. Whitehorse serves as a common base because of its accessibility and nearby viewing spots just outside the city. Remote lodges and open landscapes around the region also attract visitors hoping for darker skies and wider views of the horizon. Some travelers combine aurora viewing with winter activities such as dog sledding, snowshoeing, or simply waiting under the night sky in quiet, isolated settings. Yet, reaching Yukon is rarely simple. Distances are long, communities are scattered, and the environment still sets the pace. Roads can stretch for hours without major settlements, and weather conditions often shape travel plans. What matters here is not convenience, but scale. Mountains, rivers, forests, and tundra that continue largely on their own terms. From the riverfront streets of Whitehorse to the historic boardwalks of Dawson City, from the turquoise waters of Emerald Lake to the remote landscapes along the Dempster Highway, Yukon reveals itself through movement and distance. National parks, historic towns, and vast wilderness areas together form a travel experience defined by northern geography and the stories connected to it. If this journey through Yukon was interesting, sharing thoughts in the comments helps continue the conversation. Like supports the channel, and subscribing to Wanderway helps more travel documentaries like this reach viewers exploring new places around the world.